This is Gilbert Gottfried, and this is Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsession. I'm here with my co-host, Frank Santopadre, and I have to speak like this, or else I won't remember the name.
Doing it phonetically.
Of this thing.
That's the second time I dropped
he's dropping
that
things.
pen holder. We're here with Frank Verderosa.
At Nutmeg Post. Oh, and people have notified me that the name of that Las Vegas cop or dramatic musical show was, I think, Viva Laughlin.
Viva Laughlin. Viva Laughlin.
Yeah.
And apparently it was an Americanized version of an Australian show.
It was a terrible show.
And
no
Hugh
matter
Jackman,
what.
of all people,
yes.
was behind it.
It was horrible.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I said it like a New Yorker.
Hugh Jackman. I always say you.
Yeah. Hugh Jack. You have to say the H.
Like a sense of humor. That's the way I always.
2 episodes and out for Viva Laughlin. And a lot of people wrote us. I did not write down all the names, but we thank you guys. We knew our fans would come through.
And you said that some people found out the name of the Peter Lorre Vincent Price
called Collector's Item from 1958. Yes, just to recap, you mentioned that there was a pilot. Did you know it was a pilot?
Yeah, I knew it was made. And I thought, wow, I mean, the two of us would have certainly have watched that show every week.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah, but Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, I mean,
I found on IMDb, it was a failed pilot, Mr. Prentice. I guess Vincent Price played Mr. Apprentice, who was an appraiser at the House of Prentice. And Peter Lorre was Ivor Hager, or Ivor, who informs him of the left fist of David. I'm not going to ask about that.
Oh, it's the left fist of David. A fist. Oh, there's so many things I could do with a fist.
I knew it.
But then we'll have to wash the fist off afterwards, and it's an antique. Something about that makes me tingle.
This is a valuable but mysterious art object, the left fist of David. You could work your own Danny Kaye references into this, too.
You have the left fist. I'd like the left fist and the right fist.
Mr. Muntz, I don't even know. I don't understand this. You could go to IMDb. First of all, the synopsis makes no sense. It ends with, after a mistaken poisoning of a cat. That's the last paragraph.
Oh, jeez.
Prentice and Muncie. I'm not sure who was Muncie.
A cat. I hate pussy.
Oh, gosh. Look for this thing. I don't know if anybody can find it. I only found a couple of minutes on YouTube, but there's a synopsis on IMDb as we're reading that makes absolutely no sense. So it was called Collector's Item.
And I have not watched it yet, but at one of my shows out of town, someone comes up to me and slaps down a DVD with that cartoon caricature of Bob Hope, and it's titled Joys.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, so somebody found it and gave it to you. Somebody gave you a physical copy. Do you find that since we've been doing the podcast that you're meeting a lot of podcast fans on the road?
One guy showed up at one of the podcasts wearing like a black man's wig.
You mean at one of your stand-up performances?
Yes, yes. And he was in the audience wearing this black man's wig, like a shiny processed hair, and wearing a suit from the 50s. And he had something on his head. And he had built a little glass coffee table, and on top of it was a Barbie doll sitting on the table and that plastic dog shit. And it was like, so it was his costume as Danny Thompson.
Some effort went into this.
Oh, my God. I really admired him.
I see the pictures on Facebook. I see you with the fans. And, people will write to me and say, do you think Gilbert would like it if I went up to him? I mean, here I am, I'm in Omaha.
Yeah.
Or I'll get emails from, I'm in Ottawa. And I'm going to go see Gil tonight at so-and-so. Would he appreciate me walking up to him and giving him, a statue of David Niven or these ridiculous things? I don't think I made that one up. But I see you posing for pictures. And you're getting Cesar Romero stuff?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got one, artwork of someone drew a sketch of Cesar Romero and the Joker makeup bending over and these boys hitting him with orange wedges bouncing off his ass.
Yes. It's great stuff. Oh, let's see. So another thing I want to do an update from last week is that we were talking about cop shows from the 70s and 80s. And, of course, we put it out there on social media. Please mention any ones that we forgot. Some people wrote in. I wanted to run these by you. Do you remember any of these? You remember a show called Sarge with George Kennedy as a priest who turns into a cop?
It sounds very, very vague.
Me too. We just lost George Kennedy, by the way. How about Joe Forrester with Lloyd Bridges?
Oh, the name Joe Forrester.
These were suggestions
sense,
from people. Chopper 1. Kaz with Ron Liebman.
Oh.
Remember Ron Liebman?
Yes,
From Where's Papa? Me too.
From Hot Rock.
Hot Rock. Here are some other ones. Banyan with Robert Forster.
Now, Banyan, that title.
Not to be confused with Banachek.
Yeah, Banyan, though, sticks in my mind, but I don't remember ever seeing it. I remember, this hits me, I remember seeing a TV movie where Lloyd Bridges plays a cop who killed someone, and they wind up blaming it on this drunk played by Broderick Crawford.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know this movie.
Yeah.
TV movie.
Yeah.
Don't know it. Now people are going to look that up and write to us and tell us what that is.
And I also,
Broderick Crawford and Lloyd Bridges.
Yes. And I also remember, this one I remember the title, and that was seeing Bing Crosby and was it like Frank Savage or what was that guy's young actor?
John Savage.
Not John Savage.
Not John Savage?
He was an early TV actor.
Oof.
It could have been Frank Converse.
Frank Converse.
Yeah. Frank Converse, I think, was the
from NYPD.
Yes.
The old show from the 60s.
And this was called Dr. Cook's Magic Garden.
Wow.
Or Dr. Cook's Garden.
I'm writing these down.
And they find out that Bing Crosby, is the doctor in this small town, and he winds up tending to the town the same way he tends to the gardens. If there's a bad weed making the rest of the garden is contaminating, he gets rid
Interesting.
of it. And so he's a doctor who is letting some people die or personally.
So it's got a supernatural element to it. Dr. Cook's Magic Garden.
Yeah, or Dr. Cook's Garden.
Don't know it. You know what
Maybe
we should do in a future
magic.
episode is we should do, because we've talked about this, we should do like ABC Movies of the Week.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about how many...
Da 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 da. That was Nicky by Burt Bacharach.
Was that the theme from the ABC Movie of the Week?
Yes. It was like his daughter Nicky. She was on the spectrum. She had I think, Asperger's syndrome.
Right.
And when she was 40, she committed suicide.
Yeah, she passed away. It was
I don't know if
tragic.
this was before or after, but he wrote a song, Nicky, that I always remembered. I just loved the theme music. It always
That's great trivia.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And it was like, somewhere there is sunshine, somewhere days are warm, somewhere we can find a harbor safe from the storm.
The ABC Movie of the Week, the Tuesday night.
I
Wednesday.
looked up the lyrics.
That is pretty
to
cool.
It. Yeah.
So here's a couple others real quick. Hardcastle and McCormick.
Oh, that I remember.
Yes,
the title.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kingston Confidential with Raymond Burr. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
A couple of people chastised us for not mentioning Ellery Queen with David Wayne and Jim Hutton, which is not really a cop show so much as it's a detective show. But I guess it counts. And what was the last one? Jigsaw John with your old pal Jack Warden.
Oh, my God.
Mean anything?
No.
And then somebody posted, since we talked about O'Hara with Pat Morita, the one you said even offended you, somebody posted a picture of Pat Morita and Jay Leno in Collision Course.
Yes.
Which was a feature, a buddy comedy, buddy cop comedy. And I thought, well, it's a natural progression then from last week to this week. We should talk about features, buddy comedies.
And didn't Jay Leno also co-star with Michael Caine?
Oh, in a movie called The Silver Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But he had I think Jay had a small part.
Oh, yeah.
In that. But do you remember Collision Course?
Oh, yes.
Have you seen Collision Course?
No.
Okay. So let me do a little research and look up cop buddy movies.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, it's really an 80s kind of genre. You don't see it. I could not find, so I'll ask our listeners to send us anything from the 60s or the 70s that could be classified as a buddy cop movie. And all I could find was Hickey and Boggs. With
yes, with the cast of I Spy
with Bill Cosby and Robert Culp. And Freebie and the Bean.
Oh, yes, James Caan and Alan
Arkin. I found Across 110th Street, which is a movie that pairs up Yaphet Kotto and Anthony Quinn.
Oh, yes.
Which I recently bought at a store right next door. It sells used DVDs. Super Cops with, I think, Ron Liebman.
Oh, yes.
Right.
And that was like Super Cops came right around that cop phase, like after like Serpico.
Right.
And stuff like that. And they also had the New Centurions.
Correct.
George C. Scott and Stacy Keach.
Very good. I didn't put that one on the list, but I remember it. And Electra Glide in Blue.
Oh, my God.
With Robert Blake. That's all I could find for the 70s.
There was the 7-Ups.
Yeah. I guess that's more like a team.
That was more based on like the French Connection.
Right. That's a 70s film. There are not a lot. There's cop films in the 70s, but this specific thing that I was looking for coming out of Collision Course, the buddy movie.
See,
you don't see a lot of them.
I'm working on writing a cop movie where one of them plays by the books.
Oh, really?
And the other one's a wild man.
Really?
I don't think it's ever been done.
Let me guess. Is there a commanding officer that's fed up?
Who gets angry? Oh, I must have told you about this.
You told me.
There's a commanding officer who's constantly screaming at them.
Does he threaten to bust one and take his badge?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
This is...
And
we're simpatico here.
And they're... one of them, like, beats confessions and constantly breaks the rules.
No kidding.
Yeah. And the other's an older cop who plays by the rules and is angry at him. But here's where it switches.
What's the twist?
Toward the middle and toward the end, each one of their personalities rubs off on each other.
Oh, and they realize that the other one had something, had a point of view.
And the guy who plays by the books realizes it's kind of fun to break the rules. And the guy who is always breaking the rules becomes more responsible.
I see.
See, I'm telling you, I've revealed too much.
You're not going to sell it now.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Now everybody will try to write it.
Does it end with a freeze frame where everybody has a laugh?
In fact, this is the problem I had when I revealed my romantic comedy about a girl who's just concerned with her job and has given up on men, and a goofball who she hates, but somehow wins her over.
But he doesn't, let me guess, in your version, he doesn't win her over until she gets over the asshole guy that she's dating from work, the boss who doesn't treat her well.
Yes.
Isn't that in there?
And I just got the figure to wrap it up.
Oh, wait a second.
So
I'm going to just put out to our listeners, because this is a short episode, because Gilbert's double parked.
Yeah.
Send us the name of some cop movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but specifically buddy movies, because we couldn't find a lot. I found Dead Heat with Piscopo.
Oh, God, yes, and Treat Williams.
And Alien Nation with James Caan and...
wait. What's his name?
Mandy Patinkin.
Mandy Patinkin.
And last one, do you remember Partners, where Ryan O'Neal was straight and John Hurt was gay?
Yes.
Yes, these were the 80s pairings.
That was a fine film.
And from the 90s, Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds and a kid.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh,
with Sly Stallone and Estelle Getty.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So send us more.
This is being a rushed episode, because I'm being rushed. So this has been, I'm Gilbert Gottfried with Frank Santopadre, and this has been Gilbert and Frank's amazing, colossal obsession.
It's like regarding Henry when he's learning to talk again.
Which is going to be a whole other segment. We'll do.
See you next week.